Sometimes it's important to have a look at your work from the perspective of those who will be using it or appreciating it, or otherwise how it will be seen as a final product. I realize it's getting a little boring always seeing the set arranged this way, but as you can see, it lines up perfectly in the middle. That is because I've dragged it into that situation and screwed it there so that the application of all these other sheet goods to all the facets of these pieces will be done as these two edges line up, which means that there's a great chance that when they're actually undone at the end, that they'll live very close to that position. That's another cool little trick. But a lot of what's going on here is sort of second verse, same as the first, copying over what I've done, which is my least favorite part of working for myself and just not having anybody working for me. Once I establish how I want to do something, my personality type doesn't love doing it again and again and again, which is why I like to do the kind of work that I do. So long as there's always a challenge, I'm pleased. I was able to do a few things that we talked about in the last episode, which was I got rid of this latch on this side. That's no longer necessary. I'll show you what I did, and so we'll be able to use it over here in this position opposite this one. And again, we're going to trim this so that it doesn't get hung up here. But if you unlock this and roll it away, turn it out, then you can pull this out over here. And you can see that the plywood that I have on the back here, I took it off and I ripped a 45-degree angle in it. And I put the piece that was left over here. And that's the French cleat. And so what that does is create a passive lock, and then the active lock works over here. So we've split off needing two pieces of hardware, and it cleans this up here visually on the end. It makes this all one smooth plane when we get our final piece of Luan on here. And so some of the arrangements that we're going to do with these set pieces will be able to happen without looking bad or physical logistical problems. Also, to look at the back edge of this piece, I'll throw a little guy in that little corner there, but when he's all painted the same color, you'll hardly notice, to look at this also, this is going to be covered up, and same here, this will all be painted the same color, and from out in the house you'll hardly ever notice a little shadow line there. And that's sort of how I clean that up. So when this comes in with stage crew, they'll have more people than just me, obviously, but you'll bring this in at an angle here, back there, you get it started and slide it over. I'm gonna have a really hard time, it's really smooth, and then once it clears this little tab, pull him over there. Pull him in. Now he's on there real nice. And the reason for that is, in case you don't follow, today there aren't any children because it's spring break. We can pop into the classroom and look at the model stage and model set. Sometimes I go a little more above and beyond. This is our model stage that somebody long ago built before me. It's pretty janky and slightly out of scale. Here's the little door and our little stairs that go up, as you've seen out there in the stage here, and some other stairs here. There's a lot of old sets in here from years past. We did, I've used this little grotto kind of area here, and we had stairs. I think these are something like that, for Beauty and the Beast. And then this was the, you could go up, and then it turned and went that, ooh, how did that exactly work? I forget now how that worked. But then there was more West Wing up in this area. So we got a cool, out the stairs, through, underneath, around, up and out and over. And it gave you that feeling of going around and around in a tower, in a castle, sort of. And we've done turntables and stuff. This is all just leftovers. This was the dock from Mamma Mia that had all these sort of, a curved set of stairs, a straight shot. This little square that comes off here, actually we put two posts on and made it separate so it could be used, it could be split out and create several different vantage points here around that Greek island that the show takes place on. And where are the other, we had a pair of little houses for Beauty and the Beast that were like the shops in the town, and then at the end of the show they turned around like that. They were obviously up on the stage, but we had this West Wing pardon my frantic movement and everything here. This really wasn't what I was going to show you, but we have the west wing here with a landing that came over. But then these houses, when they turned around, oh boy, won't you just slide? Would you just slide over for me, please? They came over and butted up against the west wing so that the Beast and Gaston could go right out and onto what looked like the roof out here and do their battling, and then Gaston falls to his death through the notch in the roof lines here, and we had a big like pole vaulting safety padded bag situation that was out back there that the kid could fall backward into, and it was pretty cool. Anyway, this year these are our set pieces. One-handedly again, this is not happening this year, but here they are as they are out there now. There's a little bit of a difference, but not much. You know, this is kind of what you're looking at out there, but we want to be able to, you know, switch these around as pieces like this and have a grand staircase in the middle like that, which we may leave these lower stairs attached to do that quick set change potentially, but then they also wanted to be able to do something, you know, like this, which was set up here before, and work underneath there, or and you know, these are the types of things that are going to create problems if any kind of latches or anything are sticking off. And then we obviously can bring over the stairs just here, and people can move right up, and we're right up these stairs and right up here, and then we could bring this over like this and like that, and have a cool do it up there, over and down. There's just a lot of cool different, and you could obviously do the mirror image of that. And then on the whole entire other side of these, we have the opportunity to do stuff like this, with or without those other stairs. And I think we're also going to make a box and stretch these apart and put a box at this height through out here, to be able to do stuff there. And I think we're going to offstage, we'll have some ship ladders so you can enter and leave from this elevation out of sight. And this is the type of thing that we're trying to provide for with those flat sides to those set pieces. Anyway, just taking stock here for a moment. It's kind of cool now. We can go all the way up, around, and back down, although the other stairs are not attached, so they're a little bit roly-poly, but it's cool up here. Again, this work lights I brought in a little bit lower, but our trim height is about maybe 6 feet off of the deck, because it's an inch or so, inch and a half above my head. So that's at 15.5 feet, I believe. It's our balustrade, and then we'll go down. And hopefully I won't have forgotten some key component to safety as I'm on the phone talking. This is the first time I've done this. I just finished putting these together, but yeah, these roll all over the place. You know, but we'll do the same thing at the back with the French cleat here. I put the sheet on in its entirety first, shoot a bunch of screws through it so that it will be placed exactly back in this position, and I know that it's exactly where it should be. Then I'll take it off and cut that piece off from it, put the large piece back on here, and then set the small piece to it and attach it. I got to put some glue on here. It's just order of operations is really important when you have tolerances. You know, and you need things to fit smoothly. You can't just go imagining everything's perfect. You know, or that cleat wouldn't necessarily come together if I made it out of two separate pieces. It needs to be one first and then cut in half. Things like that. Same here when I cut these sheets. I had the triangle like I was talking about before left over from doing the stairs. So I set it in place here and slid it over tight here and sitting on top of this. And then it was long and hanging over this sheet here. And so I clamped them together and snapped a line, which was a continuation of this line that splits the stud. And then I cut them as two sheets layered together right on up and took the extra pieces away. And then I was just left with a kerf left over from doing the cut, which made for a perfect clearance and a perfect honeymoon fit between the two edges. I know it looks like this is square to that is square to this is square to that is square to this is square to that. And there's a lot of squareness here, but there's a lot of places where it's not that perfect because we are working with wood and not at NASA. Okay? All right? Is that okay with you? I do what I can do, right? All right. I'm pretty pleased with it though. And I think next time we come back for a video, we will have different arrangements, and we'll clean out the stage and close the hole and push these around, and we'll keep it more visually interesting. It's going to get fun when we start putting finishes and stuff on as well. So this is almost the end of rough construction. Thanks for watching. We'll see you.